And this is the next poem in the Elegy for the Light book. American Poet is the main title. Subtitle is Elegy for the Light. This is Song of a Broken Soul, which starts out with the voice of the new character who is known only by the poetic name of Don't Cry Girl. She is the other two characters, John Doe and Galway Girl, meet her in the city. She's just standing on the street corner playing her guitar, and here we have that song that she's singing. Here we go. So, first speaker is Don't Cry Girl. As I sing with my one last breath, I cry out for life. In a world where we look for meaning, we find unwelcoming hands. But hands I always loved. I have always loved the way hands hold. The way hands reach out toward the sky. In the shadow of hands across a broken city. The shadow of my hands stretch across the world. Never meeting another. I have lived for so long and labored so hard to try to understand what life is like. So broken into many pieces, strewn across the pages of your book, which you will never read again, but tells the secrets of your story, the crowds moving forever through the city. Passing by, while I stand here, my song unheard, my life ignored and thrown away, so that in drowning no one can hear me, in suffocating and no one can see me. Take my one last breath and elevate it somewhere above the clouds, where it can live on forever, in its own place and in its own time. All I desire is the freedom that you have, the life underneath the sun, the joy in the middle of the rain, the void of shadows that follow us now and forever. Every note I hear fills my lungs and leaves when I speak. Temptation to become more than who we are and to live forever. Nothing will stop my voice from flooding the avenues of a broken world. Each season that passes for me changed and grew colder. A generous song in my soul, unraveling it over and over again, singing with deep sighing labored breaths the razor of your lonely heart. Thinking for yourself in a world that would only lock its doors to you. If you can feel me, hold me closer. If you can hear the wind calling your name, the lament of every single forgotten star is found in these same winds. Where we lay down here on earth, growing up and breathing, but my breath always labored, so mournfully do we breathe out forever. So dreaming of the future, enslaved to the present moment, where we can no longer move, suffocating under the yoke of others. Our free hand was never able to be lifted in the night. I hold the candle high that lights up the world, but their eyes are not conditioned to see light, lives not conditioned to feel anything but a long and comfortable life away from pain. Very few run towards this pain. You hear my voice now and forever in these songs. I want to visit other cities where we together can be united and holy and cognizant of the obvious truth in our worlds. The joys we gallivanted throughout the city. I hold the candle. I will be your new light. In a world where so few can stand, where my very existence is a political issue, I cannot stand my own ground for so much longer. I imbibe the lullaby of the passing time. If only you could hear my breath. In the world where the stars are so far, like my dreams, untouchable, but still we reach out our hands all the same. The oceans of our inability to stand. Inability to write, pressed down face first into the ground by those with violent hearts. My life is broken and my mind roaring across the pages of books I never finished. The perfection of falling in love with books, with words of those who lived long ago still speak to me. I hold the candle high. In the infancy of my life I always die, forced out before I can get up to breathe. All I need now and forever is the ability to sing, the last song of the last of us. Breath so painful we can no longer lift our voices in song. If you can hear my momentous voice, dream with me on the floor of these oceans. Collide with me like the colors mixing into something new. You may forget about me, but I will never forget I met you. Never forget the simple, joyful breaths of being alive. The life I never had. The ones who never spoke to me. The closed doors to every part of my soul. The daydreaming never ends. The life and the world forever changed by the thunderous roar of those outside our halls, tearing down our barricades and calling for our deaths. Then we switch to Galway Girl. The song within your heart was mine as well. The simple life we dreamed of finding hope somewhere underneath the veils we covered ourselves with. But I could sing with you forever, join your chorus. Then we switch to John Doe. I have always been drawn to what is beautiful, always longed for the life I could never encapsulate in my heart. Come breathe for me on the beating pages of my heart. Plenty of time, all of it runs out, before we can count our hours, before we can understand the nature of the diverging hours, the audacity of those who stood on opposite shores from us and taunted us. There is not a soul in this universe braver than myself. Not a single hour passes without me diving headfirst into the future. My one beating heart connects with those of my friends. Together, the three of us walked the streets in search of what we knew we could never find, but the joy of the search was the reason why we dived headfirst into its ocean. We all had decided that the only place we wanted to go was anywhere away, as fast as we could possibly tread. The joy of finding myself in a world where the words are understood and inhaled and swallowed, and become one with those they are swallowed by like medication, and perspiring out for love now. If you can hear the miracle song of salvation, you will follow me headlong into a dream. I am higher than the oceans, the desolate shell of a world where there now only exist hollow oceans. When we watch speeches, reports of a president in a mask lecturing us on our futures and telling us that there will be no future for us, the story of my life walking through the green fields, making friends with the passing breeze, and receiving letters from the ones close to my heart, opening these letters and expressing gratitude with each breath every time the breeze touches me. The crater of our lives, where there used to be a great and welcoming home. My mind is filled with memories of seeing you drinking alone, dreaming on the floor, staring at the ceiling, and becoming one with the poem itself. I greeted you in the morning, and then we called a cab and traveled all across the city. You were more than a candle. You were a light that guided me into an ocean of mysterious grace, and I fell in love with your mysterious ways. How the time has slipped away, grasped it, but no matter how tightly clenched, it always finds a way out of our fingers. All I ever think about is mortality. It poisons my ordinary thoughts. How in this world we stand alone, and the light no longer shines for us. The truth no longer guides us. Razor blades of passion, cutting through the fabric of the world, through the government of tyranny. How my heart moved inside my chest, when all I had in my chest was a prayer. Lately, I've had this joy that I can't put to words. I've been here too many times not to know what's going on. Staring at the glass that shatters when it's touched. Sometimes we're so fragile, we shatter when we're touched. And these classrooms feel so dead. These streets feel so lonely. I've forgotten what it means to love. I'm buried in a dream. She waits here for eternity. I sing in the darkest corner, trying to break free, but I'm stuck in the dark corner. Silence is the most deafening sound. She's got a smile that lit up the stars. I'm trying to find her, but we're in this dark corner. Then we switch to Galway Girl. I want a way out of these shadowlands. I'm reaching out to be pulled by your hands. I don't care what it takes, just help me believe. I miss you more than words can show. Then we switch to Don't Cry Girl. And then I'm still asleep, all I do is dream, unless I walk across these shadows. Take me home from this worst trip. I've been through every single motion. And that's the end of that poem. About 9 minutes. Good length for that poem. So thank you everyone for listening. I appreciate it more than you'll ever know. And again, please subscribe if you got this far. And have a great day.